I mean, you know, again, how threatening is this? I'm a completely new female MP. This is one of the, you know, sort of secretaries of state, and here he is pointing his finger at me and being very threatening. Anyway, I just, you know, said, it was suggested to me, because obviously we met with the civil servants, and they said, look, your bill will go through. It's guaranteed if you drop Part 2. And I said no. Because I knew, you know, to have, as we had in Part 1, a scheme which would mean that you had to register as a carrier of waste. If you were going to put lorries on the road carrying waste, you had to be registered, you had to have a certificate to show you were registered. Well, what was going to happen there? Because these bully boys, these criminals, if they would choose not to register, they'd still go on, and you'd still be then trying to stop them and get them into court for a failure to have themselves registered. A much lesser offence than actually dumping of waste. It was, you know, it was a nonsense. You had to have more, so I said we've got to have more, and so we persevered. Because you knew very well. Absolutely. Your organisation knew very well, and the fact we had, you know, your chairwoman, the fact that I had as a sponsor and supporters Sir Hugh Rossi, who was the chair of the select committee, Sir George Young as well. I mean, you know, significant Tories who supported us, not because they wanted to support me, of course, but because they knew that this was a scourge that had to be dealt with, and that why should they be on the side of criminals? You know, I think that was the key thing, wasn't it? These were criminals. So the fact that we were talking about something which was anathema to Tories, which was more police powers to seize property, which is what we wanted, that comes quite secondary to the fact that they knew, you particularly, your staff, were dealing with hardened criminals. But it was the fact that these illegal operations were being undertaken on a huge scale by hardened criminals. I think that did make an impression, and in the end, they came onto our side.
They did, yes.
But it was very, very important, the role of the London Waste Regulation Authority. It was very important. I think, well, I'm sure I couldn't have done this without the kind of technical backup that I got.
Well, we were very happy to provide it because we knew that once we had those powers and once we had staff in place, then we could actually clamp down on fly tipping. And so it did prove to be the case. I mean, it was actually quite good because immediately after the Act came into force, we recruited an ex-police inspector, somebody called James Smith, who actually did a lot of the work and liaised, obviously, very closely with the colleagues in the Metropolitan Police in order to seize a number of vehicles and impound them. And that was actually very encouraging as far as colleagues were concerned in other parts of the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I mean, you know, when we got that bill, and I think it was, what was it, about July?
It was July. Yeah.
July, so it had taken us a good 7 months of terrifically hard work. When we got that bill, you know, you really felt this is going to be a breakthrough, because if you can just nail those people, if you can just get them into court, they were never going to be fined as much as we wanted them to be fined. But the fact you could hold their, you know, get their vehicles off them, stop them in their tracks, that was really something. And it was you know, in the constituency, the Silwood tenants, of course, were absolutely over the moon.